Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about this waterfall table that I made and how I did it. This is a piece of Mexican Kingwood that has a very distinctive center. And it's really beautiful. And I made a waterfall table out of it. It was one long piece. Had a lot of bark and inclusions and all kinds of junk on it. And I used this wire brush here and I hooked it onto a drill, and I just went along with this to clean it up so it was all nice and clean. And then I just sanded down the other side so it was nice and smooth, but it does have a bit of a bow to it, which if you look at it this way, it's pretty flat, but it's not exactly flat against here. It bows out in the middle a little bit, which doesn't bother me. It's definitely an irregular piece of wood. I made a 45 here and on the top one and then joined them together. So it does have that waterfall look. I made this piece here out of 3 pieces of yellow pine, hard yellow pine, and then I carved out these dips in it here and here and here to give it the look and feel of like the edge of a log, a tree that has different limbs coming down the tree. And I used the same yellow pine. I stained that black walnut, and I used the same yellow pine here that will go in as a support between the ends that will attach there on the one end and then attach over here somewhere and there, so it gives the whole board some stability and a right angle look. And that's what that will look like when it's all set up. And you can see it's a little higher right now, and they will all have to be sanded down so it's completely flush with this board. They will all be sanded down and restained once it's all attached and once this long center board is put in. So after the dark walnut stain dried on these 2 pieces, I put a spray finish on these to seal them, and when I painted the final finish on, which is a clear coat, it's actually a weather resistant for exterior clear coat that I put on, a high gloss, and I used that because I wanted it really strong and weather resistant. And this will be the end of the piece, and it'll be on the floor and could possibly get kicked, so I wanted to make sure that was a really good finish. But I did the spray first because I didn't want the black walnut to smear the stain. I didn't want that stain to smear once I added this finish with the brush, which it would have. So I did that first, and then I put 1 coat clear coat. I'll sand this, put another coat, and maybe 3 coats of that final finish, so it's a really hard finish and high gloss finish. This end piece that I have hand carved and stained dark walnut has dried. I put a clear coat on it. It's dried. I sanded it. The first coat is done, and then I nailed it to the table itself, and you can see those little holes there that I filled with putty, wood putty, natural colored wood putty. I'll stain those. But I used 2-inch nails to drive that in and attach it to this end here, and that's glued in. And then I filled it, any holes that were left along the bottom with, again, that natural colored wood putty. I also attached the center piece to make sure that this was dead on level. And it is absolutely a perfect right angle. So I know that this is also a perfect right angle. Up here, it's a perfect right angle. And so it's nice and square. And then I attach this end, and I put wood putty in there to fill up all of those holes. And I will texturize this wood putty. I already started to a little bit, and match the color with a stain that looks this color. It's pretty close now, but I will again touch it up and do some more to that. There's the dark walnut stain that I used, and I will touch up a few areas with that if need be. And then I will put another 2 more coats of clear varnish, same varnish I used the first time, on this piece right here, and also this end piece on both sides of that, and then sand in between, and then the piece should be finished. Using this mini angle grinder, the Merlin 2, with variable speed. It's a variable speed right there. Sandpaper, carbide bat, I grind down this edge corner, put like a little bevel on it, smoothed everything out so it was flat with the top of the table here, sanded this down so it was flat, and sanded and sanded and sanded till it all became even, so it's nice and flush. Then I stained it and touched up the spots in the front where the holes were that I filled, and the other spots, some there and at the other end, and it's going to be ready for the gloss when this dries. So this is, I don't know, day 5, day 6, day 7. This has 3 coats of, actually 4 coats of urethane varnish on it, and this side and the other side, and also the shelf that goes across the center. And I also sanded and refinished and added a coat more to this top, which already had several coats on it. So after I did all of that, I came out here and did a final sand. I used 240 sandpaper and then all the way down to 600, and I put a coat of microcrystalline wax on that, and I let that dry. Now using this triple-aught or quadruple-aught, 4 zeros-aught steel wool, I'm going to rub down the wax and buff it all out. Okay, it's been rubbed down with a steel wool and rubbed down with a paper towel to remove any loose wax residual. And the top has been rubbed down to a really high gloss. See that? The whole thing has been rubbed down and it is ready to be taken to the store.